Hey guys, we are going to be trying some new makeup on today. I placed an order at Sephora, kind of a small one. I also placed an order at diorbeauty.com or dior.com. And of course, I've received some stuff in PR, and then there's some stuff that I ordered before the Sephora VIB sale went live and never tried it. Does this look familiar, you guys? So the Dior Forever Glow Star Filter. I actually ended up picking this up because I think I was talking about glowy primers or hybrid products that have like glow to them, like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. And I said that's why I never picked this up, but so many of you were like, you have to pick this one up. This is the one. You have to get this one. So anyway, I picked it up. Yeah, and I have some like other stuff that I've accumulated during PR hauls, like the Lisa Eldridge Kitten Lash Mascara in the new shade Burnt Umber and the Dr. McCrean Actives High Performance Lip Filler in pink, which I thought would be fun to play with because I do like the clear one of this, but Violet Gray just sent this to me. So I thought I would try that out. And then we also have a newly reformulated base product from Laura Mercier. This is the Tinted Moisturizer, the Natural Dewy with the SPF 30. And I have it in the shade 1N. And I think they came out with like a matte version also. So this is the Natural Dewy version. So we'll try this. Anyway, got like a few random things here and there, but let me go ahead and open up this box from Sephora because I'm pretty sure I just got one thing. Yeah, I only got one product and I got all of the shades. So these are the new Lip Cheat Duos from Charlotte Tilbury. So I got all of them. And you know, this is great. The boxes are color-coded. Hold on, let me hold this up. The boxes are color-coded. Isn't that pretty? I mean, very rarely do they do that with the outer packaging as well. But that's so nice. So I got all four. So we'll definitely do some swatches. I'll put on, whatever makes sense. I will definitely lip swatch for you as well. And then here is the lovely box from Dior. And if you caught my live that I did on Sophia C's beauty channel with Jennifer from All Feisty, you know what's in this box because they were talking about these Dior quints and I kind of passed on these quints. The colors, I mean, you guys know I am a real plain Jane, real simple eye look lover. One and done eyeshadows, neutrals I love, neutral to cool tones I really love. And so I passed on these quints because they are very neutral, but Jennifer over at All Feisty, she convinced me to get these. So while I was on the live, I went ahead and I ordered these. So these are the limited edition quints. I got brown cashmere and silk taupe. Now, Jennifer was wearing brown cashmere on that live stream and I don't think I realized they had this like cool design to the packaging. This looks squishy like their new highlighters and their new bronzers, but it's not. This is actually like hard plastic molded to look like it's puffy and quilted. That's really cool and very thoughtful because a lot of times I know eyeshadow packaging especially gets very dirty, and when it's like a cloth or some sort of fabric, people are really wary of that. So smart, very smart. Good job, Dior. Good job, Dior. So here is brown cashmere. Ooh, we'll definitely get into this. And here is silk taupe, which has a little bit of like that pinkiness in here with this shade. Wow, these look fantastic. So yeah, I had originally passed on these just because I was like, I have those shades 1,000 times over, but yeah, Jennifer really convinced me I needed them. So we'll be trying that out. Okay, where shall we start? So I guess should I start with this? I'm gonna swatch this and see if this star filter is good as a primer, or maybe we'll just, I don't know, add it to, no, I don't wanna add it to the Laura Mercier. Or maybe we'll just use it as highlighter. So I got shade number 2, and here is what that looks like. And I wanna swatch it because I wanna see how glowy it is. If it's really glowy, I'm not sure that I wanna use it as a primer, but I'm gonna shake it up. First pump was not great. Let me shake some more. This is much thinner than I thought, or maybe I need to pump out more. Yeah, this is a little bit thinner than I thought. Almost runny. Let me pump out some more product. I have a feeling maybe this was sitting at the Sephora store where I picked it up at Town Square. I think it was probably sitting there for a while. I want to say it's thinner than the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. That has like a creaminess to it. This one is definitely a little bit thinner. Yeah, it looks like kind of a very similar sort of situation where you have very light coverage. Like I wouldn't consider this a foundation, but you have that gorgeous sheen. And I've always said the Hollywood Flawless Filter just looks like pantyhose for your face. Like it just really like evens everything out. So let's see. I guess I will use this because it doesn't seem like it has like micro glitters or anything like that in there. So I think I will use this as my primer. And I wonder, I mean, I don't like a lot of coverage. I wonder if this will be good enough in terms of like using it as a foundation too. All right, I'm just gonna pump out fresh pumps here. Oh, it does look like it's a little bit thicker than the first few pumps I pumped out. Yeah, it looks a bit creamier. Okay. I'm gonna grab a foundation brush. This is Rephr's number 31 brush. And again, I'm using shade 2. Did I mention that? This is shade 2. There's a very light, I don't know, light like floral fragrance. Very light. You know, I was never one to use the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter by itself. I always felt like it needed a little bit of help, but this actually looks quite nice by itself. You know, I'd probably want to put on a little bit of concealer around my eyes, but everywhere else, I feel like it's done like a really nice job evening out my complexion, and it has a really nice glow. I feel like this glow is a little bit more subtle than the Hollywood Flawless Filter, and I think that's why I never felt comfortable wearing the Flawless Filter all by itself, just like this, because I wanted to add a little bit of foundation just to kind of like tone down the shine to it, the glow to it. Yeah, this one seems a little bit more like satin. Okay, whoever convinced me to get this, I'm so happy I did. This is kind of the perfect like summertime base. Like if you go lighter, which I usually do in the summertime in regards to like coverage. Yeah, because I don't want to feel like a candle melting. This is really good. This is really good. The coverage is really light. All right, all right. Oh, I'm so excited for that. Yes. Yes. So that's the Forever Glow Star Filter from Dior, shade number 2. Okay, well, I've got this Laura Mercier, but I kind of don't want to put anything on top of this. I'm really loving like this all by itself. So I think I'm just going to use a little bit of concealer, and I don't have a new concealer. So I'm just going to go in with my Sarah Creole Face Flex in shade number 1. Kind of work it around my eyes. I just got back from my whirlwind trip to Portland, Maine. It was like literally planes, trains, and automobiles basically, because yeah, I had to take a flight into Newark to meet my friends, and they were driving up to Portland, Maine, which is a pretty long drive. And flying into Newark is usually drama-free compared to either LaGuardia or JFK, the 2 other New York City airports. But there's something going on at Newark where my flight out was like more than 3 hours delayed, and then my flight home was like an hour and a half delayed. And that on top of sitting in a car up to Portland and back, which was like there it took like 8 hours, back it took like 6 hours. It was just so much rain. It was like torrentially downpouring both ways, there and back. Anyway, I just felt like I was sitting on some sort of mode of transportation forever. And I was there for basically like 3 days. So anyway, I just got back and feel like I must look really tired. I feel really tired. I feel like I look really tired. I'm hoping this concealer really pulls through. I think it is. I think it's brightened up my eye area. Yeah, I think so. Awesome. Okay. So for contour, I purchased this Isamaya Sculpting Stick in Willow. I got this during the Sephora VIB sale. And I've just been curious about her line because I really liked it when she first came out. And then it looks like she's sort of redone everything, rebranded everything. And now she's at Sephora. And I already miss her big eyeshadow palettes. So I do hope she comes out with those. In the meantime, I thought, well, let me try what's existing here. So this is a sculpting stick. It's a contour stick, and it's made with moisturizing emollients infused with pigments that glide over your skin, blah, blah, blah. Cozy Tech, a bio-based next-gen elastomer, ensures the ultimate soothing sensation and comfort. So this seems like a maybe skincare-based makeup situation. It's vegan, it's made in Italy, and that's it. So here is the packaging. I think it's meant to look like like a syringe of some sort. And then there's Braille here. So let's check this out. Oh, the shade looks good. It has like a little bit of a pinky cool tone there. Let's do a swatch. Oh, that's so weird. It's so smooth that I almost didn't even feel the crayon against my skin, but it definitely made a mark. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, it's like almost like a roller ball. It's so smooth. Draw where I normally contour under the cheekbones. And because this is such a nice slim stick, I'm going to do a little nose contouring here. My nose is crooked, so I'm gonna try and straighten it out. I don't know, I don't really care. Okay, feeling I'll probably need to draw a little bit more here, but I'm actually gonna use my concealer brush from BK Beauty. This is the A506 brush. And this I know is gonna be perfect for the nose. And over here, I don't know if this is gonna be big enough for under my cheekbones, but surprise, surprise, all of my brushes are dirty, are really dirty. I need to just spend a morning just washing all of them. I think that worked okay. This blends out really nicely. I think that blended out really beautifully. I think the shade, which is Willow, is perfect for my skin tone. Yeah, Willow. Perfect for my skin tone. And I really do like slim stick because it really makes easy work for contouring, like, you know, the nose or whatever, if you do your lips or something. That's really nice. And it was easy underneath my cheekbones. I like this. Okay, Smaya. Now I'm tempted to try other things from her line, but this was really great. I do also have a new Bisou blush from Rephr. This is in shade Mariam. This is a very deep, like raspberry pink. I'm gonna use my Chantecaille foundation and mask brush, and I'm gonna just swipe it over this because, actually let me do a swatch for you, because I am afraid it's gonna be, get really deep really fast. So I think if I, instead of like swiping it straight from the stick, if I use a brush, I don't know, I think I'll have better luck not going overboard and not ending up with clown cheeks. So I'm just gonna pounce a little bit. And these do come with a brush at this end. It's just a little dense for me. I like one that's like just a little bit looser where the hairs are a little bit longer. That's very pretty. I like this color. It's very like fruit punch colored. Very, very nice. So that's the Bisou blush, which is a matte cream blush from Rephr. Mariam is the shade name. Quite lovely, quite lovely. Now, I don't have any typical highlighters, new ones to try, but I was sent this from Naked Sundays. It's their Cabana Glow Mineral Glow Serum Drops. And they do have a bronzer, a blush version, and then this is the illuminating version. So, and it has SPF 50. So I think this is meant to be like a liquid highlighter. Oh, hold on. Lightweight and antioxidant infused, these glow drops are designed for everyday wear, multitasking as your moisturizer, primer, and SPF with pink algae and hyaluronic acid. Primer and SPF. Well, let's do a swatch because I am intrigued by this. Okay. There it is right here. And oh, I think it's a little, I don't know, maybe I can tap that on my cheek. It actually isn't, I'm trying to see if it's like metallic. Oh, a little bit. A little bit. I see that like metallic shift there. Let me see if I can just maybe tap some on. I have a lot of liquid products right now, if that works. Well, it's very subtle, but it's nice. But yeah, I think this would actually work better as like a primer moisturizer situation. Yeah, it's almost a little bit too subtle. And if you have a lot of cream and liquid products down already, I'm not sure that you need to add like this kind of glow. So let's move on to brows. I've got the Iris and Romeo Brow Up Thickening Brow Balm in brown black. And Iris and Romeo is now, I believe, now at Sephora, which is so exciting. So here is the packaging, and let's see what the wand looks like. Ah, teeny tiny, which I love. Nice, nice, nice. It has a really nice level of pigmentation. It's not too much. It's not like, what was the one? The Victoria Beckham one, where I felt like it was so much and it was clumpy and it was wet. It was a mess. This one is really nice. Okay. And the formula is really nice. It's not too dry. It's definitely not too wet, as you can see, because that would have been messy. But yeah. Okay, Iris and Romeo. Not bad, not bad. All right, let's move on to the Dior Quince. I'm so excited. So I definitely want to try brown cashmere. Should I do like one eye each? I think I will. Why not? So let's do some swatches here. This formula is different. As I'm swatching these definitely behave differently and feel differently. Here are the 5 shades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the center one. This is so beautiful. This is like a white champagne gold. This is the only matte shade, this dark brown, but it's a very soft, creamy matte. This one has just a hint of a satin finish. And then these have a beautiful, like, high shine satin finish. Ooh, gorgeous. I can see now why Jennifer really liked this one, because it's a pressed powder formula, you can see, but it's really, really creamy. It's not quite as soft as the YSL, those couture clutches, the quads. Those are really soft and really creamy. These have a little bit more substance to them. Yeah, as you can even see from my swatches, there isn't a lot of like kick up or whatever. Like those YSL clutches, I think upon like first finger swatch, it looks like there's a depression in the pan. These aren't that soft, but there is definitely like a real creaminess to this formula. Oh, I'm very excited. Okay, so I did pick up one of the Victoria Beckham brushes when I was in LA and I went to go visit Violet Grey. This is the soft blend brush, and I wanted all of the dual-ended brushes, but this is all they had in stock. And I thought, you know what, why don't I start here? And if I like it, then I can get the other ones. So this is pretty much like their fluffy flat shader brush. And then we've got this beautiful wood handle. We've got a metal ferrule, and we've got Victoria Beckham here, like etched into the handle. And then the brush number is printed on the ferrule here. So this is brush number 20. Again, Soft Blend is the name of this brush. These are all synthetic hairs, and they are made in China. I'm gonna go into this shade right up here in the top left-hand corner. It's such a pretty, barely peach kind of shade. And I'm just gonna apply to the center of my lid. And I'm just gonna do this eye. I hope that's okay. I'm gonna use that Silk Taupe Quint on this eye. And then I'm gonna go down and use this like golden camel shade. Oh wow, this formula is fantastic. It's like blending out beautifully. I am so glad I picked these up. So glad. I was really just going off of the color story, and I was like, I have those shades. I have them somewhere or something very, very similar. But this formula is really nice. Really, really nice. Okay, now I have to use the center shade because that's what got me to purchase this palette, because that's what Jennifer had basically like all over like her inner mid lid. And I'm just gonna go in with my finger here and just tap some. It's so bright. It's like literally adding like a light bulb, like a spotlight onto your lid. Ooh, that's stunning. And I love that it's still kind of like a satin finish shadow. It's not super metallic. I mean, there's a bit of a metallic sheen there, but it's almost like a light metallic, but like a heavy, a high shine satin. Gorgeous. Okay, let me use like a fine brush and use this as liner, the dark brown. Okay, I've got my BK Beauty 204 brush. That's this guy. That's nice, and no fallout at all, which is really nice. Wow, that is really, really beautiful. The only shade I didn't really use is this gold one. I used these 4. Really pretty. I think if you didn't want anything quite as white, but you still wanted like a little bit of a spotlight in the inner corner, the gold would come in really handy for that. Oh, but that's nice. I really, really like this formula. It is really creamy without being too soft. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, let's move over to the Silk Taupe. Let me start by doing some swatches of these 4 shades. So it's a little bit cooler. Actually, let me hold it up next to the brown cashmere. The brown cashmere is, I want to say, neutral, a little bit warm. And the Silk Taupe is neutral, a little bit cool. So brown cashmere, Silk Taupe. And this brush was fantastic. I think it did a great job applying these shadows. I mean, I think a lot of it is the shadow. I'm definitely gonna have to try this brush with maybe shadows that I don't get along with quite as well as these. But yeah, this is really great. So I'm gonna try it again with the Silk Taupe Quint. Let me do some swatches. Here are the 5 shades. I love this gray shade. It has a little bit of pink in there. It's really pretty. And then we've got 2 shimmery shades. the bottom left-hand corner pink shade, that's this guy, and it actually has a little duochrome in there. And then we've got a shimmery medium mid-tone brown, and then again we have a deeper matte brown. Great for liner. So I think I'm gonna start with the lightest shade here and build up my inner corner. Let's see if that'll work. Particular light shade feels a little bit thinner than that center shade in the brown cashmere. So you can probably see it's a little bit more like a topper versus this one. I just wanted to kind of like confirm finger swatch with how it applies on the lid. Yeah, this is definitely much more of like a topper shade. So I'm actually gonna back off of that one and I'm gonna go into this pink shade actually. This is a really pretty one and done shade, this pink shade. And let's see, let me go into this gray shade. I think it's matte. I think it'll be nice. Kind of work up in the socket line area here. That's a very subtle shade. Pretty though. And then I'm gonna try the center shade here. I feel like once I have these shades on my lid, there isn't that much of like a color value difference. I feel like this is almost, I mean, aside from the dark brown, these are almost like just a palette of one and done shades. Because I don't feel like I'm building a lot of dimension. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not building a lot of dimension with these, like with these three shades over here. You know what I mean? Like they're all kind of the same in terms of like depth. I mean, that's different than the brown cashmere. The brown cashmere definitely has like a lot of depth with all of those different colors. This one, I feel like playing around with all of them at once, I'm getting a little bit of a muddy look, but I do think, especially these two, would make for really great one and done shades. This one, if you like or prefer a matte. But yeah, altogether, I'm not sure I like them, or I just need to kind of play around with like the order and the placement or whatever. First impressions, that's my first impression. All right, I'm gonna use the same BK Beauty 204 brush to line my eyes with the dark brown here. Okay, so my eye looks are totally different. Totally different, but those are the two quints. I really, really like this formula a lot. If you guys have tried this, this formula or any of these quints, because I think there's two other ones that I didn't purchase, let me know. Now I'm tempted. Now I'm tempted to get the other two. One is like a little bit more peach. I forget what the fourth one is. Anyway, the formula is so good. I would even say they're beginner friendly because they just blend out so easily. They're so soft, but they're not, they're creamy, but they're not too soft. All right, I am actually gonna use a new lash curler. Hourglass gave me their new lash curler when I went to see them in LA. And I don't even think I realized, I mean, why wouldn't they? But I don't think I realized Hourglass had a lash curler, but it is gold and it's got their H right here, super cool. And here are the handles. So let me try this out. Comfortable. No pinching of my lids, which is nice. Nice, good job. I like that they didn't pinch my lids at all. Okay, now let's try this Lisa Eldridge Kitten Lash Mascara. I have tried her Kitten Lash Mascara in black. That's the color she came out with, and then she extended the range with this Burnt Umber, which is a shade that she has in her eyeliners. So I really wanted to try this out because I do really like dark brown mascaras. So we've got the basic packaging in this brushed gold, so pretty. And then we have this really beautiful kind of banana shape. It kind of reminds me of the Lancome Lashy Doll. It's a little bit different. It doesn't come to quite a point at the end, but similar, kind of like banana shaped. There's definitely a soft touch to this color. Obviously not quite as inky black mascara. Now I like the way each individual lash looks when I used her mascara, but it doesn't really hold my curl very well. So there is the Kitten Lash Mascara in Burnt Umber. Really, really nice brown. Just looks like a soft black, really pretty. Okay, let's move on to lips. I'm so excited to try these Lip Cheat Contour Duos. And one of the very first products I fell in love with in the Charlotte Tilbury line is her lip cheat in Iconic Nude. I think we probably all have it. That and her Film Star Bronze and Glow and her nipple blushes. I think these 3 products are like the first 3 products that I really got into when I got into Charlotte Tilbury. Like I had to have every shade of the lip cheat. I had to have every nipple blush. Yeah, I was just so obsessed with her line when it first came out. All right, so the first one is, so I don't think there's actual like shade names, if you will. This one is just Fair. And then the lighter shade is the Fill shade and the deeper shade is the Sculpt shade. So I'm going to, how should I swatch this? I'm gonna swatch all of them on this hand, one right next to the other so you can see the whole range. Okay, so we go from fair to medium to tan to deep. And I've got the Sculpt shade on top and the Fill shade at the bottom. So the lighter color and then the deeper color in the duo. I feel like this one, medium, is actually my sweet spot. This is very pinky. I mean, I think, you know, it would look fine on my skin tone. I just don't wear like super pinky lip colors too often. This is a little bit more nude. And then this is a bit warmer. I would say this tan is a bit warmer. And then we've got the deep over here. The texture feels just like the lip cheats. I don't think the formula is very different at all. So let me start with Fair. I'm gonna use the Sculpt side as the liner and then the Fill side I'll fill in a little bit. So yeah, here is Fair. So that's the Sculpt. And now let me use the Fill. It's raining. And before I forget, I'm going to swatch the lip cheat in Iconic Nude. Right, you know what, I'm gonna draw it right underneath here. Yeah, the Iconic Nude is pretty much the same as the Fill shade in the medium. Do you see that? So this is Iconic Nude and then this is the Fill shade. Pretty much identical. What I will say, I mean, I can't say for certain. But I feel like these duos are a little bit softer. They're a little bit more emollient because when I saw that those are actual Fill shades, I thought, oh, is it gonna feel a little bit too dry? Not like I've ever had that problem with the lip cheat, but you know, lip liners, generally a little bit like too dry to cover your entire mouth with, but this actually feels very, very nice. It actually feels a little emollient. Interesting. So anyway, this is Fair. Here is medium. So here is just the Sculpt side. Now I'm gonna use the Fill shade. So here's the Fill shade. You know what, I take it back. I think the formula is the same because this feels a little bit dry. And what I'm remembering is I had like a little bit of lip balm on before I started filming. And that's probably why that first Fair shade felt really comfortable on my lips. But now that I wiped all of that off, this is definitely just like the lip cheat. I do think this is a little bit too dry to wear all by itself. And I don't know if that's how it was designed. I mean, you know, she calls it fill, but it's probably just like to fill in a little bit or to fill in like over a lip gloss or under a lip gloss or whatever. But this is medium. Okay, so next we have tan. And these are definitely gonna be too deep for me for like an everyday nude shade. But if I wanna do something dramatic, this could be a nice shade. Okay, so there is the Sculpt. That is so scary looking. There's the Sculpt. Let me go ahead and fill. This is a very warm tone. Let me blend that in with my finger. This is a very warm shade. It's like a caramel shade. Definitely not one I would wear very often. There is tan. And then let's try deep. This is definitely not a shade I think I would wear often, but I don't mind a really deep brown lip. So I am curious how this is gonna look. Okay, and now for the fill, I'm just gonna use a lip brush. I've got my Isom W19 brush. I just wanna blend this out a little bit better. Obviously not an everyday shade for me. I will say though, these two shades in the deep, I think ombre the best. I felt like the Fair, it was almost too close. You couldn't really see it. This was pretty decent. And then these were, for tan, it's like, the disparity was almost too much, but like this ombre is really, really well. And this was pretty decent, but I felt like this was too far apart and then these were too close. I don't know, maybe I just need to practice a little bit more, but this is the deep. Okay, I'm going to remove this because I do want to try the Dr. McCrean Actives High Performance Lip Filler in pink. And I think I should probably go back to the Fair in terms of lip liner and try that. Every time I put on a really dark lip, I always think back to Nikki Tutorials and like her power of makeup thing, because I feel like for me, with my features, putting on a dark lip is the most transformative. Like, bam, like instantly, I look like a completely different person. All right, here is Pink High Performance Lip Filler. And this is the guy, oh, they changed the packaging. So this used to have a roller ball at the top, and you'd have to like turn it over and get the product down onto the roller ball and kind of like use it that way. I liked it at first, but once the product got down and you had to do that, it ended up being kind of a pain in the butt. So they've changed it to just a straight up doe foot applicator. And I'm gonna apply this because I wanna see what this looks like on the lip before I put a lip liner on. This is such a good lip treatment. It's almost like a hybrid between like an oil and a serum. It is so, so comfortable. So there it is by itself. This is in pink. And it does that amazing thing where if you just give it like a minute, all the wrinkles in your lips all of a sudden start to like fill up and push out. And it literally is like a lip filler. Can you see? My bottom lip, it's starting to look like it's puffy, and there's nothing, there's like maybe a little bit of mintiness, but it's not like hot, and my lips aren't like burning, like nothing like that. But yeah, I think you can see it on my bottom lip more than my top lip, just because of the lighting. This stuff is amazing, amazing. I'm so glad they changed that packaging. All right, let me just put on some of the Sculpt from the Fair. Just a little definition. Oof, all right. Wow, that was a fantastic trying new makeup. These eyeshadows, glorious. Absolutely glorious. That formula is incredible. This star filter, this could be the answer to all of my base prayers for the summertime. I have dry skin, so if this is your first video with me, I should have mentioned that before, I do have dry skin, so I like products that give my skin a little bit of glow, and if I get shiny by the end of the day, like the more the better. I just love it. Anything that makes my skin look not dry, I'm really into. Let's see. Oh, the Iris and Romeo Brow Up. This was really, really nice. Very, very impressed with that. I love the little itty bitty brush. The Victoria Beckham eyeshadow brush was very nice, but I am going to try it with other formulas because I feel like this formula was so good that I feel like any brush would work really well with it. The Isamaya contour stick, that was really nice. Very subtle, especially the shade Willow, but I like the form factor. I love the contour stick idea. And this new Bisou blush from Violet FR in the shade Mariam, I really, really like. It's very, very natural looking, even though it's a little intimidating in the tube. It looks like it's gonna be so bright, but if you just tap it on or if you use a brush, I think that worked out really well. I love this. The Kitten Lash Mascara, I just wish it would hold my curl a little bit more. Other than that, I think the formula is really great. Like I love how it makes my lashes look fluffy. I just wish they were standing up a little bit more. And then these lip contour duos. So I'm fairly certain the formula is pretty much the same as the lip cheat. Didn't feel that much different. I don't know that I would fill my lip up entirely with the fill side. Like I just said, starts to feel a little bit dry. Also, you would end up using the fill side so much faster than the sculpt side if you were to do that. So I think it's just a nice way to start to contour your lips. So, you know, line with the sculpt, maybe like fill in a little bit with the fill and then throw on a gloss or something else. But I think this is actually a great pairing for gloss, since gloss has such little pigmentation, generally has such little pigmentation, that like just using a little bit of the fill and like kind of blending it all together would be really, really nice. And then the sculpt, really you can like contour and give your lips like a really nice pouty look. So I really like the idea of these. If you like the lip cheat pencil, the formula, I think you'll really like these. And it's a really nice shade range. I really like the fair to deep. I think, of course, she could come out with more shades in there, but this is, I think, a really, really nice start for sure. And that's it. I'm really loving the way my skin is looking with this star filter. I really, really do. And I am sitting under very hot lighting and I'm starting to feel a little bit warm, but this is still looking really nice. Really, really nice. All right, guys, thank you so much. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.